In this video, we will discuss about 802.1x port states. .1x in shortcut we call them. We already know about 802.1x, either .1x, IEEE 802.1x. Basically, there are three port states which we can define for .1x. The first one is auto. And normally and most of the time you will see auto port state. So basically when you type this command and you put auto, let me show you. Basically we are using the same topology, and let me open my switch. So I enable .1x on this port 0/1 where my window PC is connected. So if I say show running interface E0/1, so this the command which we are talking about, authentication port control. So if I go to configuration interface E0/1 and type this command and remove auto, you will find three different port state. The first one is auto, which right now is enable auto. There is force authorized and force unauthorized, and these three which we want to discuss. So auto means you enable .1x on this port, and this port will be unauthorized until the device or user put the correct credential. And when the supplicant or user authenticated properly and they provide the correct credential, then the port will be in authorized state. So right now this port is unauthorized by default 0/1, and the only protocol is allowed EAPOL, extensible authentication protocol over LAN. This is the only protocol which will be allowed, and nothing will be allowed beside this. Let me capture this one. So if I right click on my switch and 0/1, the interface where this command I enable, and let me capture something. Okay, so I start capturing and click OK. Okay, so here I need to type extensible protocol. Yeah, there is EAPOL, and let me enable. So right now, because I did not send yet anything, okay, but this is the only protocol which will be allowed, and the port will be unauthorized state until the supplicant or user authenticate properly. Then the port will become an authorized port. This is auto mode, and which normally we see. So if I go back and show running, let me see, is auto is enabled. Yeah, auto is enabled. And if I check show authentication session, so no session is there. So what will happen? First, this device will send EAPOL protocol. Through EAP protocol, they will send their credential. Let me send my credential. So let me connect to this Windows system, and because .1x is not enabled, let me enable .1x. Here is okay, and when I click OK, look at it asking username and password, and the capture say EAPOL start. They said this protocol start, which is 802.1x authentication first packet start. Then it's request the identity. Extensible authentication protocol asks them to put your username and password. So here I put test, and employee is E1, and password is ABC@12345. So what will happen? They will send this username and password through this EAPOL to switch. Switch will send through radius to forward to Cisco ISE. I'm not interested in that packet, just to show you that what is auto port state. The only protocol is right now EAPOL, and the port will be unauthorized until the user put. So let me send. So I send this request, and they will send this one, and it's successful, by the way. and now I'm connected and I get my IP and everything. Now everything is allowed and the port is authenticated, and it should be somehow here, the detail will be here. So if I go to, so this the response which came, and this the, let me go. Anyway, we are not interested in this protocol right now, but just to show you, yeah, here is. So this what I want to show you. They send the identity test, and E1 is the username. So what will happen if I go back to switch? So before nothing was there. Yeah, let's check out again. Show authentication session. Look at now. They say that the status is now authenticated in .1x method we are using, but it's better to show you through interface E0/1 detail. And here it say the port state is now authorized, because the username and password they provide is the correct one, and when it's the correct one, so the port become authorized now. This is auto mode, and normally you will see this one. Nothing will be allowed beside EAPOL frame to carry your credential, and when everything is okay, the port will be authenticated and the port state will change from unauthorized to authorized. So if I show you from here, so these are the EAPOL start. I show you these packet, by the way. I don't know, I'm not interested right now because we will discuss this later on. This is the start one. So there is EAPOL start, then is EE request identity. They request them the identity. This is the request identity that provide your identity, and then response identity. So this will, there will be response as well. So this is still request, and there will be a response as well. Okay, and then there is this detail identity, then response in case if you are using OTP, and then it's successful. In our case is successful, and after that the port, that's the main thing which I want to tell you. Port was unauthorized, so when they put the correct detail, the port become authorized, and now you can see and switch, the port is authorized now. But if I disconnect, so the port will be unauthorized again. So this type of port state is called auto, and this one you will see most of the time, and you need to configure this one most of the time. Now coming to another port state of .1x is force authorize, forcefully authorize them. It means for authorized state disable .1x. It means it will disable this concept. So let me disable it. First let me clear authentication session. So if I say show authentication session, nothing is there. Let's go to configuration interface E0/1, and this the command I need to type from here, is better to copy. So the command was this one, authentication control auto. Okay, if I go back and let me remove, and there is the one which I am right now interested is force authorize, forcefully authorize them, force authorize. The port state set to authorize. Now in the port state to authorize port based authentication, so it means it will disable the concept of .1x and cause the port to transition to authorized state. It means the port will be authorized all the time. Before an auto mode, the port was unauthorized. When everything was correct and supplied correctly, the port become authorized, and with the user disconnect, the port unauthorized again. That was the concept in auto mode, but here there is no such concept. The port is authorized and it will be authorized all the time. So if I disconnect this one as well, and if I connect, there is no such concept of anything. I will be authorized automatically, and nobody can put me restriction. And after a while I need to connect. Yeah, it's connected. If I click and check my IP, I will get the IP and everything. And Even if I put a wrong username and password, again the port will be authorized. So okay, it's just hang, the system just hang, so I need to check again. Okay, still hang. So what I can do, let me restart this system, stop, and let me restart and put something else, wrong username and password. In the case of auto, if you put wrong username and password, it will not authorize you. But here, because the port I already authorized them, and even it's like I disabled .1x. So this is called force authorize. It means all traffic is allowed as normal without any restriction. You remove the restriction. It means the port transmit and receive normal traffic without 802.1x authentication. It will not use the concept of .1x to provide your username and password. If your username and password is correct, then I will authenticate you, and if you authenticate, then I will authorize you, and then you can connect and you will get the IP address, you will get everything, and you will get access. No, because you remove that concept when you say force authorize. Normally we use them if you want to test something, and if you want allow someone temporary. Maybe and force authorize sometime if your servers are connected to some port, because if your server is connected all the time, so those server doesn't require to authenticate each and every time. So what you can do, you can put those port in force authorize mode, so the traffic will be loud, and it will not ask the server to provide your credential. So in that case, you can use them force authorize. Maybe your permanent server is connected, your permanent device is connected, and you don't want to authenticate them again and again. And you already know that my server, my web server, database server, these are connected all the time, and we know these are connected to this port. So you can make that port force authorize as well. So if I log in again, and here test 1 2 3, let me log in, so there will be no such thing. So this is called force authorize state in .1x. And how we can make them? So you need to type this command under the interface, authentication port control force authorize. So let me go to my interface again, and let me put something wrong just to show you that it will block me or not. So let me go to properties, and let me go to authentication, additional setting, and save credential, and let me type something ABC wrong and ABC wrong, something which is not in my database, this user, and see they can allowed me or not. So let's see, because there is no concept of .1x, you already force authorize them. So it will connect, and end of the day I will get the IP address. And I don't think so switch will keep any session, show authentication session. No, because you disable that concept. So how they will keep them? And it's connected. It's normal, like my normal PC, I get the IP. Even if I disconnect and connect again, so normally in auto mode they will re-authenticate, yeah. But here is no such thing. So this concept is called force authorize. The last port state in .1x is force unauthorized. This is the opposite of force authorize. And this concept, you say whatever it is, a .1x, it is the correct username and password, correct token, correct password, correct whatever, ignore all the traffic and just put this port unauthorized state all the time. So it means in this state the port ignore all the traffic, including any attempt to authenticate. Even it will not authenticate them. And force unauthorized port is forced to never authorize any connected client. It means it's disable this concept. Even if you put correct username and password, it will not authorize you. Port remain in unauthorized state all the time. Ignore all the attempt by client to authenticate. And basically the authenticator cannot provide authentication services to the supplicant. So let me try them. Now let's go to switch and change this to, so for that purpose I need to go to interface E0/1, and the one which I used was force authorized, and this time is force unauthorized. Show authentication session. There will be nothing, by the way. And here let's see now. This time if I disable and connect again, this time it will not connect, because I make the port unauthorized, that whatever, even if I can provide, it will not attempting to authenticate, and it will not authenticate. I can enable logs and switch to show you as well, but anyway you get the idea. That just to get the concept. Look at now, it's not getting. Even maybe you are thinking that because you provide a wrong username and password. Let me put the correct username and password. Let me go to additional setting and replace credential, and this time I would say test, and C1 is the username, either E1 imply 1, and password is abc@12345. This one is correct, yeah? Correct username and password. And let me do authentication again. No, it will not. Attempt to authenticate, and the switch will ignore, and they will keep the port unauthorized, because I say keep the port unauthorized, whatever the attempt. Ignore all the traffic, ignore whatever is coming to you, even if it is EAPOL, even whatever is coming to you, and I will get a PIPA, no doubt. Yes, it's a PIPA. I did not get the IP. A PIPA means automatic private IP addressing, because I'm not reachable to DHCP even. Even the DHCP packet is not allowed. Nothing is allowed, because I make the port unauthorized. So these are the three states if you want to use. Force authorized, client is always authorized to send the traffic. And force unauthorized, client is never authorized to send the traffic, even after authentication. And auto is decided whether client is authorized or not to send the traffic. And auto mode, after your authentication, they will decide them. And I show you how they are deciding in auto mode. So it means if we see from here, in auto mode, before nothing was allowed beside EAPOL to carry your traffic. And when you authenticate, everything is allowed to you in auto mode. Force authorized mode, before everything was allowed, and after authentication everything allowed. It means there is no such thing. Even if you put wrong authentication, still everything is allowed. And if you put correct username and password, again everything is allowed. After and before, everything is forcefully allowed. Force unauthorized, even if you put the correct username and password, before you are not authorized and after you are not authorized. Whatever you do, you provide the correct username and password, you provide everything is okay, again you are not authorized on this port. Before authentication and after authentication. Before and after you are allowed and force authorized. These two are the opposite. And auto is the best one, which I told you only one protocol is allowed to carry your detail, and when your authentication is successful, then you will be authorized to access the resources. So these three were the .1x port. It means these three ports determine whether the client will get the network access or not. So three different cases we discussed, and I told you 90% you will see auto mode, which we enable on our endpoint and end devices most of the time. Force authorized maybe you see for some devices, maybe for servers or maybe, and for some reason if you want to disable this feature and you don't want to have any sort of traffic, then you can put the port as a force unauthorized. That's it.